And we're back with another edition of Lakers Fast Break Spotlight on Lakerholics Weekend. We've had some minor technical snafus here, but we're getting it all resolved as we speak. I'm going to get Michael on here in just a second. Lots to talk about. Great week in Laker starting week to the 2024-25 season. I think there's some really great positives to take away, and there's still some things that obviously need work. 2 whole games into the season is not basically like training camp 2.0 for the NBA. I think most teams, unless you're in total rebuild mode, look at the first 10 games or so as a kind of extended training camp. G League hasn't started yet. It starts in about a week. Maybe a week and a half. Can't remember the exact date. We'll maybe get that to you guys later. What's up, Intel? What's up, Darren? Yeah, sorry we're late. My bad. I had some. I'll just take the blame, even though it's not my fault. It's never my fault. I'm a Scorpio. Things aren't our fault. We just have to roll with the punches that the rest of you, folks drop the ball. I'll be turning 50 in 2 weeks, so feel free to mail any gifts you'd like to the White House. Care of Let's Stop Fascism. All right. On that note, I'm sure that'll get edited out in post-production, and I'm fine with that. Anyway, Michael, be on in a second. I just got to figure this out. So while I'm figuring this out, Laker Tom, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the first 2 games and even like the last game into preseason. Although, you know what? I don't want to hear anything about preseason. Preseason is preseason.
Preseason doesn't count.
Well, it's still important, but it doesn't count. And let's move on. The games matter. Let's hear some thoughts. I'm going to just look at my phone while I get this sentence.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I think Laker fans couldn't be happier, man. I mean, this is everything that the most rosiest hopes that you had for the Lakers and for JJ Redick to really be able to take advantage of, let's say, some continuity and chemistry on the team. He get an opportunity to show that he really understands how to make the process better on the court. I mean, the first game was just marvelous because we dominated the entire game. The second game was just terrific because they came out and we had a great game plan. We contested those threes like crazy, and those threes just kept dropping, one after another. But the point was made early by JJ that we're doing the right things. So just keep doing it, and it'll balance out. And in the end, it was exactly what happened. The Lakers continued to play well. They made some adjustments, some great defensive adjustments in the second half, and dominated the game. It was 2 examples of a completely different situation. But what's most remarkable about the whole thing is that the Lakers have basically, in this short training camp with a new coach who's never been a head coach before, he put in a bunch of changes that really have just transformed the Lakers' entire game. I mean, they finished last in the league in the amount of miles run this year, in the number of passes made and everything. And the whole transition of everything is just dramatically changed. But what's so surprising about it is the winning formula hasn't changed. We haven't yet seen anything to come from an increased number of threes or anything of that nature. Instead, what we've seen is that everything that he's done has increased the number of passes, increased the number of touches that everybody gets, and has made it even easier for us to score inside. When you look down the road, and once we start to add 5 or 6 threes a game and start shooting better from 3, I mean, we started off shooting horrible from 3. We're 28th in the league right now in 3-point attempts, which is where we were last year. But everything else has changed because we're dominating the game dramatically at both ends of the court. Our offense is the 5th ranked. I think the 5th ranked offense in the league. We're the 7th net rating in the league. We're only 15th or something like that on defense. And the big part of that is because the Suns came in red hot. They made eight.
That was absurd.
8 straight threes at one point, but
9.
Yeah, 9. It was just amazing. And yet you get we see the law of averages does work. And
So
the J.J. Redick era. And there was an article that was by Sam Quinn for CBS Sports that everybody should read. It's on the blog now, and I've highlighted certain portions of it. But it's not a long article. It's a short article. Basically, if you wanted to hear somebody's bold, objective, and promising review of the first two games, Sam really hit a nail on the head. The Lakers are doing everything right. JJ has everybody playing at elite levels. I did a breakdown of the individual player offensive and defensive ratings. The number one offensive, defensive, and net rating on the team is rookie Dalton Connect.
I mean, that's a little.
Behind him is Austin Reeves. You go down the list, and you got to go down the list before you get to Anthony Davis and LeBron James. And 13, if forgetting Bronny, who's really a G League player at this point, the only player on the team who did not have a positive net rating after the first two games was Max Christie. Everybody else on the team had a positive rating. We had 5 or more players with 4 rebounds and 4 assists in last night's game. It's just amazing how the team has transformed and the difference between the coaching staff this year and last year. There was also a great article put out where they talked about each of the coaches, and you got a first chance to hear what all of the various assistant coaches on the team were saying about the way that the JJ was running things, about being part of the Lakers family and so forth. It's just so positive that, it couldn't have been a better first two games, in my opinion. A great start to the season. First time we won in the opener in 8 years or something like that, and the first time in like 12 years that we won the first two games. So, everybody should be excited except probably Jamie. But, we can't ask for everything. Maybe after game 3, he'll get on it. I want you to know, Jamie, there's enough room on the bandwagon for you, man.
Oh my God!
Anytime you want to jump aboard, you and Gerald. I know right now you're hanging on to the muffler at the end, and you're just hoping to get a seat at the end if something good happens.
Wow!
But we have room for you, man. So don't worry about it.
I rarely worry about anything, which is, both positive and negative. Well, thanks for all that, Laker Tom. I agree with a lot of it. I am not a Gerald impersonator or imposter. The name has been changed, and I'm just, I'm not negative. I'm a realist. Michael, your thoughts on the game, and then I'll chip in while I'm not caffeinated enough yet. I'm lagging behind. So,
yeah. Well, we gave up 38 in that first quarter, but it wasn't all of our defense. I mean, we had 7 turnovers. That was the main driver in that 38 points.
Yeah.
Once we start taking care of the ball, you don't worry about 22-point leads until
third quarter.
The third quarter, maybe the beginning. Early on in a game, NBA game, I just kind of sat back and said, okay, they're not going to hit 78% from 3 for the rest of the game.
Right.
And we're not going to turn the ball over 30 times. So it was like, okay, let's just settle down. And my biggest depression so far. Oh, by the way, Tom, we might be 28th in threes, but that was due to a 5 for 30 in the
5
first.
for 30, yeah.
We were over 50% last night.
We shot well last night.
Yeah. So it was, I mean, my biggest takeaway, again, is JJ's utilization of AD. We are now AD's
We're
team.
seeing the transition. We've been only waiting for 4 or 5 years now.
Finally seeing AD's team, and he's playing like a monster. He destroyed the quote unquote defensive player of the year in the first game.
Yep.
The Suns have no answer for him. I thought it was beyond the headliners. Rui had a good game. Dalton had a good game. Austin, of course, was crazy good.
Crazy. That was a great game by Austin.
Yeah, he had an exceptional game. Jackson Hayes I'm warming up to him a little bit.
You know, he was one of the top 3 offensive players in rating.
Well, he had 4 assists last night. You know, he had 4 assists.
4 assists, 5 rebounds.
You know, so I'm warming up to him a little bit. And against teams like the Kings, he's fine.
Yeah.
It's when we get into the teams with the beefy centers.
Well, we just he's not the rim protector, and I think it's interesting that what JJ has done is he's put him in the regular rotation defending. And is on the perimeter, he is really hard to get by because of the lane.
So you know, it's all looking really good so far. I'm thinking that when I looked at the schedule, you know, I think I predicted a 6-4 start to the season. But if we continue to play like this, and here's when I looked at the schedule, I didn't say, oh, the Timberwolves, oh shit, they're we got them first, or I didn't say, oh man, we got what I saw was, oh damn, we've got the Kings third. They've had our number for the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
And we're getting them on the back end.
They play last night too?
No, they did not. We're getting them on the second night of a back-to-back. But I think that if we can get past them, I mean, for some reason, Sabonis plays crazy good against us. He always has like monster games.
It'll be interesting to see how AD. It's a good measuring stick.
Yeah.
AD, is this the new AD? We'll find out tonight.
If we can get past the Kings, I think we do have a shot at Tom's 8-2 prediction for the start of the year. It will be tough in Phoenix again. It's hard to beat somebody 2 times in a row that close together, especially when you're now in their home court. But
they have no the problem is the teams that have no answer for AD are finally this year becoming teams that we can seem to handle it fairly easily, I think.
Yeah, I think that Cleveland will be a challenge because they do have guys.
They got 2 bigs that are
that can handle him. But yeah, up and down the line, and I think Dalton Connect. The thing that's most impressive to me about Dalton Connect is that he hasn't sucked on defense.
Yeah,
he hasn't. He's not a stopper, but he's played reasonably.
But he's got the number 1 defensive rating on the team right now.
Yeah, he's played relatively good team defense. You can't put him out on the island. He's not quick enough for that. But within a team scheme, and if he continues to play decent team defense, I think he's going to continue to get Max Christie minutes, just because he's an offensive threat on top of everything else. Yeah. So.
Well, the thing that's really impressed me is I love the switching 1 through 4 stuff that's going on. It's so much easier to keep in front of your man, and we aren't giving up those floaters and little mid-range jumpers that killed us. You know, I'm so tired of seeing us give those up to the bigger wings and so forth.
Well, you look at Rui. Rui had a decent offensive game and got 7 boards, but he was really good defensively.
The whole team, I thought, in the second half played great defense.
Yeah, he was in front. He was stopping. He was when you look at the shooting percentages, right? KD had a very, very good shooting night, but Beal and
Booker.
Reeves outplayed Booker.
There was 23 points on 21 shots. Actually, I'm not going to give him 23 points. I'm going to give him 21 points because that was a dick move, that layup at the end.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see rookies do that. You see rookies do that.
He just wanted to.
Vets. Vets don't do that. But Booker's a dick. So I mean, what do you
I'd be stoked if he's on the Lakers, though.
Yeah, and then also and Bradley Beal, 15 points on 14 shots. I'll live with those numbers all day long. you know.
Yeah, especially when you look at that had to be a disheartening situation for them, because not only did they give up that 22-point lead, then they went back and built it back up to 7, and they gave that one up. And then they never got closer than 7 after that. That's, boy.
So I'd like to
those early leads are really hard to cash in.
I'd like to throw out my thoughts on the first 2 games, just because I haven't said much yet, and I don't mind that. You guys had some excellent points, and I can't disagree with it. Overall, as I've said many times, the number of 3-point shots doesn't matter to me. Right now, we're averaging under 30 a game. I think we're at like 28.5, something like that. I mean, I think we'll probably end up closer to 35. I doubt we'll get past 40, and I think that that's okay, because when you look at how the Lakers have won both games, it's pretty much the same blueprint as last season. We're either dominating in the paint, like we did at game 1, or we win the paint but dominate at the free throw line like we did last night. And we shot fine from 3. We shot 50% on 28 shots. Those are quality shots. That's what I harp on the most. I don't care how many they are. It can be 5. It can be 50. I don't care, but they have to be good looks. They can't just be like, oh, it's like 22 seconds on the shot clock and I'm jacking it up from 3 because I just went around a screen. Like that's bad offense. And you saw more of that in preseason, and it's nice to see that that's been ironed out between preseason and now. That's one of the things.
What's ironed that out is who's been playing.
No, D'Lo was doing it in preseason. Boston was doing it in preseason. A lot of guys were doing it in preseason, and so that's what I mean. Like,
there's only 2 guys that got negative net ratings right now.
I don't care about that. Net ratings, it's game 2 of the season. These aren't important.
Yeah,
facts.
but the eyeballs happen to line up perfectly with these net ratings, because it's Christie and D'Lo that are the 2 guys that got negative ratings. Well, Christie's like a negative 50 and D'Lo negative 10 or something.
Well, I think that's because D'Lo was in the starting lineup last night, and Phoenix went bonkers, and we didn't go bonkers. So this is what I mean. All of that's very subjective, and I'm talking about things that you can actually talk about. Like I get it. Like Dalton Connect has a great net rating. He's averaging 15 minutes a game. Let's not blow this out of proportion. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not like he's playing 35 minutes a game. It's not like he's playing 40 minutes a game. Like, he's playing 15.
No, but he's a rookie.
That's great. And
he's a rookie on a team that's bringing back 13 players from last year.
And he's playing a lot with Hayes and AD, which means his defensive responsibilities are severely nullified, because the Hayes and AD combination is another thing that we never saw at all under Darvin Ham. Or if we did, it was for like 5 total minutes all season or something ridiculous.
And Hayes has played extremely well.
I've been a big believer in Hayes all summer long. I thought that this is one of the things I want to talk about. I think the internet is so funny to me, because on draft night or on the first day of free agency, I forget exactly when it was, Coach Reddick said something along the lines of, oh, my one wish would be to have like a big, strong, bruising center. And he didn't mention any names. He didn't say we need to trade for one. And so everybody on planet Earth took that as, oh, he wants us to trade for player X. It was never put out there that it might just be a shot across the bow at Jackson Hayes to play a little more aggressively, to play a little harder, to play with the kind of ability that he has. You watch that guy play, and he's fast. He's long. And when you put him on the court with AD, they cover a lot of ground really fast, especially when they close out on 3-point shooters, which is one of the things we've been defending pretty well, which we didn't defend great at last season, I didn't think. So these are the things that I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that like Jackson Hayes is going to be that it wouldn't improve, that we couldn't get a better player in there. But based on what's on the menu right now, what we have to work with right now, I think that we're seeing the best you can see out of Hayes. Did you know he had 4 assists last night? Yeah. He's making great reads with the ball. He's not forcing his offense. He's running the offense. He's making a play out of his back. It's great to watch him evolve as a player. And this is why I kind of hate trades, because it just in some ways means you've given up. You've given up on a guy. Now let's say it's like Jordan Crawford, year 20. All right, you can give up on Jordan Crawford, year 20. There's nothing left to like unearth in that diamond mine. But with a guy like Jackson Hayes, who's 25, some of these guys who are 25, 26, and you're just giving up, and then they go somewhere and they go off, and you're like,
Well,
wow.
and you had a coach who was probably misusing a lot of these guys.
I would agree with that. I think
that's
that's
the big problem. See,
this
what
is-
I
this
think
is one of the
really
differences
the difference
between
with Hayes.
okay, go ahead. No, I'm
Let me
sorry.
make a point with Hayes, and then I'll let you continue. The thing that I thought was impressive with Hayes is that, and I don't know who, somebody posted this online, so it's not something that I immediately grasped it, but I thought the post was accurate. What JJ did is he understood that he's not really the defensive stopper that he needs. He's not the big bruiser that he needs, but he understood that the guy has real skills. And what he did is he changed his role. Instead of being that drop coverage guy, he started playing him next to AD and allowing then AD to roam and also allowing him to cover the perimeter and to be involved more in the offense. The other thing that's made him really work well is that a lot of the big plays that he's made, almost every one of those passes has come from Austin Reeves, who's really picked up his playmaking. And that pick and roll that they have has become really effective. And those are not easy passes. We're not talking about lobs that are up at the rim, because what they're doing is a pocket pass to him that he's got to grab that ball at his waist and then take a couple of steps and then dunk the ball. So Hayes he's what he's done is he's changed the roles of a lot of players and has gotten them to do the things that make them better players, which then creates a synergy that is what is happening with the team right now.
I think the interesting thing that's happening, Austin Reeves is now the primary ball handler.
Yeah. D'Lo's giving him the ball every time down the court.
Now, one of the things that I really don't understand so far is, D'Lo hasn't been shooting the ball well, but shooters need to shoot, and D'Lo hasn't been getting that many shots, and they haven't been setting many shots up for him.
And he hasn't been taking that one when he threw into the corner to Hayes instead of taking the wide open three. I mean, he got it back and hit a great shot. That was an important shot in the game. But
I mean,
after he passed it to Jackson Hayes in the corner, which was like,
why?
what are you doing?
Sometimes, no, listen, in the game sometimes, because there's Sam Quinn had a stat that he had something of the number of passes that we've made right now in the first two games. It's like 50% more than we averaged last year with. And there's a tendency when you get it in a game. I've done that before. I've actually thrown the ball to somebody on the bench, because
it is possible that somebody else was supposed to be there.
Sure, 100%. Or like Tom's saying, like, we're moving the rock. Oh, that was
because it was a no look.
Well, he moved it as an open guy, and he moved it. It just happens to be the guy.
That ended up being one of Jackson Hayes' assists because he whipped it right back to D'Lo, and then D'Lo shot the shot. And that was.
I kind of like the way that D'Lo got that shot off, because he really faked out Durant to the point where Durant did not think he was going to shoot that ball. He was kind of like looking around and then shot. So that
was really went after D'Lo defensively, though, man. I mean, that's the one thing about switch everything.
This is the point that I want
sometimes to isolate your guy on. You want to get.
This is the point I wanted to bring up today too. It is going to be really so much better this year when you can bring a guy like I'm blanking on his name now.
Connect?
No. Our backup point guard.
Gabe Vincent.
Yeah, Gabe in. He was really effective defensively all night. Yeah. And when you can bring him in those last 3 minutes to protect the lead, that's something we didn't have last year.
Yeah, you notice he replaced D'Lo.
Of course, because that's what he's there for. He can be a complimentary scorer at times, but he's in the NBA because of his defense. Okay. That's what he's in there for, and it's really such a, last year we didn't have anybody that we could bring in to protect the league at the end of the game, So that was really cool. And then he gets in people's grill. He's tough as nails, And we didn't see the real guy last year, because even when the season started and he played a few games before they shut him down, he was hurting. You could tell he was playing through some stuff.
Yeah.
This year he's healthy.
He was shooting horrible.
This year he's healthy and he's as advertised defensively. He's been really pretty good. So
two of the things that jumped out at me and when I was watching this game afterwards, and I'm a big D'Lo fan, and I've been waiting to see what kind of impact JJ would have on D'Lo. One of the impressions that I got out of yesterday's game was that the Lakers don't need D'Lo. And let me. I mean, that's sort of a general. Let me finish.
Okay.
And it's not that they don't need him, but what you're seeing is a team that is got probably 5 guys who can get 4 assists in a game. 5 guys who can get 4 rebounds in a game. 5 guys who can shoot threes.
We still need him as a shooter. I think we still need him as a shooter.
Yeah, well, he's not 2 games is a very small sample size, no doubt about it.
Yeah, he's
this is a guy who holds the record for Laker threes.
Yeah,
but
he's
at the same token, at the same time, the second thing that is related to that happened yesterday or last night, which is Austin Reeves taking his game to a new level, I think. We've been talking about can Reeves take his game to that 20-point per game level. I mean, he's the second best defender on the team right now, statistically. And man, it looks like the eye test to me says he's playing great defense. He's getting in there. He's fighting. He's getting to the line. He's hitting his threes.
Here's the deal, and this is why I said I was cautiously optimistic coming into this year, was because I looked at what we did last year down the stretch. We're seeing that 110 defensive rating that we had was because because Austin was defending. It was because Rui was defending. It was because those guys picked up their defense, and it's carried over. It's carried over, and we've seen it now. Man. Even in the preseason, they didn't play much together, but the times they did, we looked really good. And then so it's carrying over now. Now it's going to be. I think it's going to be the second unit that has to shake out. I think we got a solid first unit.
Yeah, we've been outscored on the bench both games.
Yeah.
I think the Dalton is going to get more minutes. The big problem the first 2 games has been Max. Max and D'Lo, basically, we need both of them to do. If they were both doing well, where we'd be after the first 2 games. So if they can turn it around, and I think Max is our weakest link, just because it's the.
I think it's part. This is part JJ though too. JJ has to get D'Lo more involved in the offense. I mean, because he hasn't been hitting his shots at a good clip, but he's not getting many shots. And shooters need to shoot.
He's not taking them. That's what bothers me too. Is he's not taking them. I don't understand that.
Yeah. So
I think that's a byproduct. I think all of that is a byproduct of recalibrating the focus to AD and in the paint. And
it definitely has definitely a factor.
And like if you're the opposing defense, and you're going to send a guy into the paint, you're not going to send D'Lo's guy. So I think that this is just that, and a lot of D'Lo's shot attempts come off of kickouts. He doesn't create a ton of his own shots. He gets more shots off the pass. I mean, he does his little step backs. It's not that he does it, but he's usually either open in transition. He's making transition threes, and we haven't taken a ton of transition threes. We've been taking the ball to the hole in transition, I feel like. I don't know what our transition scoring is. It's not great. It's probably about league average if I were to take a guess. But anyway, my point being is that this is part of the recal that once as the whole team gets used to the flow of the offense running internally first, as it should, into the center and then out to the perimeter again. I think you're going to see some guys who are used to like 10, 12, 15 shot attempts start the season off at more like 7, 8, 9, 10 if they get a couple of extra looks or
Well,
whatever.
the one thing that we've
And
done,
D'Lo isn't an assertive player. He's not somebody who comes down the floor and says, "Give me the ball." He's like, "Oh, you take it. I'm cool over here. I got my hair. I'm chilling out." But that and there's pros and cons to that. But one of the pros is that you're not going to hear him after the game being like, "Well, I didn't get all these touches that I should have gotten," and dragging the locker down. He has a very supportive second tier star, right? Maybe.
What turned him into a second tier star in the middle of last year was all of a sudden getting real aggressive, going out there and taking as many shots and
not passing up open shots. And that's where I agree with both of you. I think that seeing him pass up open shots is concerning. I want him to take those open shots right away. And that goes for pretty much everybody.
Well, you hope that
Jackson Hayes.
You hope that he's going to come out against the Kings tonight and let it fly, I mean, that's what I'd like to see. Get him a bunch of shots, get him into the game, and then do something for Christie. Get him into the game, You just don't want to have guys. And the one thing I like about the first two games is that we didn't see, other than the Bronny being put in the first game for that 3-minute stretch.
No,
we played a 9-man rotation, man.
There's no Olivari. There's no.
Yeah, we weren't experimenting with, what about this and what about that, and put Reddish here and all this other crap that we spent half the year trying to go through, man.
No, well, I'm glad of that. Reddish is
so nice. Otherwise, the first half of the season last year was like preseason.
Reddish is a break in case of injury or foul trouble player, right? Yeah. That's the only way he should see a significant role. Somebody gets hurt, or there's bad foul trouble for 3 guys.
Blowouts.
We got right. All of the above. And the same will be said for Christian Wood. Because Christian Wood lacks the mobility that Jackson Hayes has, and our defense is predicated on mobility right now. That's what makes the switch everything defense work. It's not, and you'll see, it's not just switch everything. We've actually busted out. We've busted out 2-3 zones
with a 9-man or a 10-man.
We've busted out 2-3 zones, and I've watched AD and Hayes try to trap the ball in the corner with a 20-foot arm wall between the two of them. And so these are the things that I think that we never saw under Darvin Ham that I want to give. And I've been hard on JJ Redick, so I'm going to take a moment. And I'm not saying that I'm wrong, but I am going to give him credit for implementing some really smart, very basic things that the fans have been asking for, ideas. Play your 2 bigs together like we've seen successfully done in plenty of other places, especially because both AD and Hayes are so mobile. They can cover so much ground so quickly. They can hedge to the paint and then get out to deflect a shot with a step and a half. And to ignore that last season when we were giving up threes, that's what's the one thing I don't know that's going to improve, but it has improved, is our rebounding. I still feel like that's a bit of a work in progress. Our offensive rebounding has gotten better. Our defensive rebounding, we're not limiting him to a lot of 1-and-out shots, although sometimes that's just the bounce of the ball. But in general, that's the area that I'd like to see us improve on.
It's not just AD and Jackson Hayes also on that front line. Rui has a 7'2" wingspan. That's
more than 4 boards.
And you got those 3 guys out there. When you got those 3 guys out there,
that's a lot of length. It's a lot of length.
So
that's a great point, Michael.
Anyway, that's another thing to think about, though. You're just talking right now about what a great job JJ has done with Reeves, with Hayes, with AD. We got 3 guys that I'm real interested to see what he can do with these guys. The first one, obviously, is going to be Vanderbilt. How's Vando going to play? How is he going to fit Vando in there? Because Vando's going to take somebody's rotation spot.
It'll be connected. It'll be about.
I don't think it's going to be connect.
I think it's going to be a 10-man rotation. Honestly.
I think they got to go to a 10-man rotation. Then the second guy that I'm real interested in is,
and you want that going through the season.
You want that in the season, and then narrow it down for the playoffs. I agree.
Exactly.
But the second guy, the real wild card is Koloko. He's the one guy who could be that rim protector when 86.
He's not. Listen, I applaud your
enthusiasm. And you'll eat your words. Believe me.
I will not, because he can only play 50 games. He can't play in the playoffs.
He'll be on a different contract after the trade. You wait and see.
Oh, there might not be a trade.
Yeah,
there will be a trade. Because we got 3 guys that we need to open up roster spots with
next year. Listen,
we don't need those 3 guys. We don't need Reddish. We don't need Lewis, and we don't need JHS. All
Well,
three
yeah,
of them ought to be moved.
that's another guy who got 0 minutes so far in the season, which I think
he was sick last night. He wasn't suited up.
Whatever.
Even if he suited up, he wouldn't have got minutes.
We picked the wrong guy.
Yeah, we got to get rid of those three guys and replace them.
Moving on. I've moved on. Like, he's forever, however long he's a Laker. Great man. Good job. I can't wait till you're somewhere else. I really can't. Like, I am officially done with Jalen Hood-Schifino. It will take a massive turnaround for me to be any kind of believer in his consistency, because he can't play. He's never healthy. He's never available. And when he does play, he's incredibly mediocre. So I would rather see Max Christie. I would rather see Bronny James.
Probably better than Maxwell Lewis.
I would rather see Maxwell Lewis. So I would rather see Maxwell Lewis or Olivari than Jalen Hood-Schifino. All of them. One last thing on Koloko. He has not even been cleared to play. He has not played in over a year.
He's been cleared to play. His status right now is he's trying to get his conditioning up to game level.
When did he get cleared to play? I didn't see that.
I haven't seen that either.
No,
it's in what you have to read the reports for the injury reports.
Well, I read that, but there hasn't been an announcement yet.
There hasn't been an announcement of it, but everybody's assuming that because that's how they changed the injury report. Before he was not eligible. Now he's working on game conditioning.
No, he's still not cleared to play. You're wrong. As of October 7th.
I know you're making a big deal out of it, Jamie, and hanging your entire hat on it. So go ahead and do that.
I'm not. Actually, I'm hanging zero of my hat on it. You're the one who's hanging your entire hat on it.
Let me pull your foot out of your mouth.
You're the one who's hanging your hat on it. A, I'm not wearing a hat. B,
he's going to play. He's going to play. He'll be approved.
He's not going to play.
He will be approved. Despite your saying it about 1 million times that he's not approved. He's not approved. Don't believe he'll be approved until he's approved.
That's right. You can believe he's approved. That's fine. I'm not here to tell you what you should think.
The Lakers would not have signed him to a contract if he had not been approved. If they're not,
no, that's wrong. That's wrong.
You're also wrong about that
contract because their doctors felt he would be approved.
Right. It's a gamble they're willing to take. That's what this is.
And the thing about it is, I bet you anything there is an injury clause in there that they can just.
I don't think that works for two ways because they don't count against the cap.
Well, yeah, you can just let him go. I mean,
you can just they can just say, all right, bye.
It's a day-to-day contract. It's a at-will contract.
Right. The only thing,
like everybody else's job in the world.
Yeah, they can let all 3 two-ways go, and it has no implications on the actual team. And the only thing that has to be managed is that they can play 50 games maximum during the regular season, and they are not available to be on the playoff roster. That's
in rotation.
At the bare minimum, Koloko will be, if cleared, kind of important to have around because we only have two centers.
No, I think it's a
bring him in case of injury, something like that.
I think it's a great investment to make. It's a great risk to take. You're talking about a two-way deal. Would you rather have Koloko or Colin Castleton? And I don't think it's really even a debate. Koloko showed that he can play at the NBA level. Castleton showed that he was an okay G leaguer. Right, like, and I like Kyle. I liked when we picked up Kyle Castleton, and that's what you're doing when you pick a late second rounder, an undrafted guy.
Yeah, skills. He just should have gone.
He's
so gone to the gym every morning and lifted weights, man.
Right. Well, and I hope he gets picked up by somebody else and like gets a shot. You know that all of that stuff. Like I don't have any hate for Kyle Castleton, but this is what we're talking about here are the late draft picks and the two ways and. There's just no real world where they're going to matter this season. I understand the enthusiasm, and I have hope that he'll be
we need a rim protector on the second team off the bench.
Sure, okay.
And Koloko, I don't know that there's not. I think. In fact, I'm encouraged enough by what I've seen of the film on him and the comments from the Lakers that I really don't want us to trade for one of these other centers. I don't want us to go after Walker Kessler and give a couple of draft picks or a pick for some guy from the Hornets or something like that. I want to see what Koloko can do.
I would rather see what we have in-house. I am always a big believer. I am a believer first in in-house rather than I am let's just get this guy and do all this and it's all just going to work. It's going to be great. I never believe that. It's so rare that big trades work in the NBA instantly. It's a short list. The Pau Gasol probably being the top one where we went from a mid-grade team to basically a playoff contender by the addition of one player. And there are some who would argue that trade was lopsided, although I am not one of them. I think it was a very fair trade.
AD worked out pretty good.
And AD worked out pretty good. And yeah, but like it's a short list, right? Like there's a lot of like the Bradley Beal deal.
A lot of Russell Westbrook trades in there.
You know, there's a lot that don't work.
AD worked out great, but Russell Westbrook took a couple of years off of the AD deal.
And all of us, Russell Westbrook took a couple of years off of all of our lives. And so, you know, this is what I mean. Like, I would really rather exhaust the options within and analyze this team as it is up until the trade deadline. And on top of that, I think that given where we're at draft asset wise, I'm not sure people should expect a big trade. I do think people should expect something where like a couple of guys, young guys, maybe JHS and Christie are packaged together with a pick or two that brings in a $14-ish million player. 15, 14, somewhere in there. And ideally, it even gets us a little further under the cap so that when rosters expand, we can sign some vet minimums. Because that's the other thing the Lakers are up against is that even when rosters expand, the cap doesn't. And so if you want that extra guy, if you want it, I mean, that's when you could see maybe if Koloko plays, you transfer him from a two-way.
You got to trade D'Lo for a $14 million guy.
You can. I don't see us trading D'Lo. I really don't. I
do.
I mean, I know you do. That doesn't surprise me at all. But
listen, I've been rooting for us not to trade D'Lo up until maybe the last game.
It's the great dichotomy of your mind where you're both trading people while rooting for them all the time.
The problem is
the thing with D'Lo.
Michael says something.
The thing with D'Lo that could lead to a trade is he is a free agent at the end of the year, and depending. Sometimes they don't like that free agents walk for nothing. So that would be the one thing that I would say. They would consider trading him. Now, if he gets his groove on, they're going to say, well, what the hell? Well, let him walk at the end of the year, but we might win a championship with him. So it really depends on his performance going forward. If he's middling for the next couple of months, then see what you can get.
I think it depends. I think so much depends on how the team is performing, right? Like we're off to the best start since 1999. That's crazy. Think of the Laker teams that have been together since 1999. We have not gone 2-0 under any coach, any team, since the turn of the century. That's a little bit crazy.
It's kind of like our coaches didn't have the team ready to start the season, isn't it?
I mean, listen, as soon as that 2002 Laker team won the championship, and then you saw how they coasted into all of the rest of next season, you started to see like, oh, there's definitely something called a playoff hangover. Once you play games of playoff intensity, it's hard to get up for the first week of the season because you're like, all right, here we do, first of 82, like it's a grind for those guys. Games 1 through 10 are probably like, man, we got so many of these to go.
It's really hard to have 2 magical seasons in a row.
Let alone 3. And so,
you got to have a talent level that's greater than anybody has a talent level right now in this league.
But I'll never forget how hungry we were coming off that loss to the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals, and even that team didn't go 2-0 to start the season. These are teams that are motivated to win, that are motivated
to finish. We got an easy schedule too. These were 2.
We had 2 playoff contenders. It wasn't like we played Portland and Brooklyn. Yeah, you know what I mean? That would have been like, oh wow, hey, good job, you're 2-0. This is Minnesota,
and it was a LeBron James celebration game, man. We never win those games. We lose those games just like.
Always. I thought it was funny. AD even mentioned, he's like, yeah, we usually lose LeBron games.
I read an article where they said AD was throwing LeBron under the bus for that.
I love it. Right. Oh, I hate you, LeBron. Don't have a historical game.
Those damn LeBron celebrations. We always lose those. Doggone it.
Anyway.
Stop doing that, LeBron. No more records. No more special things.
Anyway, so one other thing I wanted to talk about this season, that I've really been is the I always found the Darvin Ham vibe to be so aloof as to be unwarranted because he hadn't really accomplished much as a coach. And what I like about JJ Redick is his quiet intensity but also his jokes. He has great jokes for a coach. Most coaches are like,
It's pretty sarcastic in the end.
we tried to win the game. We need to play better defense. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's just like they went to Greg Popovich 101, how to be a curmudgeon.
Greg Popovich does it with a great sense of humor.
Right, but everybody else fails. Everybody else fails. Budenholzer, Ham, all those guys who have filtered down from Pop through some form of factoring tree or another. They all come off as like a little bit, overly sarcastic or borderline disdainful that somebody deigned to ask them a question. It's like, dude, this is the job. And so what I like about JJ is how he is approaching the job, right? I don't want to waste the player's time. We are going to do these 5 things. And yeah, I got to answer these questions. So let's get through it and let's have a little bit of fun. And, somebody asked him, what are the most inane questions you could ask a coach? Hey, did you hear that cheer that started midway through the third quarter? Did you know what that was all about? What kind of question is that? A, it's a totally different sport. B, he's supposed to be coaching the game. And C, go to Chavez Ravine if you want to talk about the Dodgers, bro. That's where they are. They're not at crypto. So, and the way he handled those, great. He's like, oh yeah, I wasn't sure what it was. Was it because I made a substitution? Oh, look at Tom. Is that a Dodger baseball? I can't see. It's moving around too much. It's too blurry.
No, this is a 1998 baseball from the World Series that the Yankees won against the
the Yankees
San Diego team.
Oh,
but imagine me after the first quarter. I just got finished watching the Yankees.
Right.
The Yankees throw one pitch that turned a 1-0 game into one of my worst nightmares. And then I go and watch the Suns nail 9 straight threes against us.
Yeah.
Wow.
But hey, listen.
I didn't lose faith. I didn't switch over to Netflix. I stayed there. I listened to JJ. You're right. We were contesting those shots. They'll not go in the second half. And I love that game, man. That was such a good game because we came back strong in the second quarter and the third quarter.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the Dodger game. I was like, I think the
Yankees. No, what's going to happen? The Yankees will steal game 2 and we'll take the home court advantage and we'll win 3 games in New York.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're not coming back to LA, man.
We're not talking baseball here.
We're not coming back to LA.
You can start your own video blog
about Dodgers going down.
I'm gonna mute you. I'm just kidding. I would never mute anybody. All right. So the last thing I want to talk about.
Beat up on an 80-year-old man. Is that what you're trying to do? Huh?
Listen, if you're in the fight, then it's my job. If you step into the ring, Tom, if you step into the ring, it's on. No. So my last thing I want to say, and this has nothing to do with the Lakers, but it does have to do something with an ex-Laker. I was really, really glad to see Lonzo Ball make a return to NBA basketball. I'm obviously don't really care about the balls at all. Whatever.
Hilo for Lonzo, I love it.
No, nope. No. I'm not suggesting that in any way, shape, or form, or agreeing to that. I think that's a terrible idea. I think you can probably get Lonzo Ball.
Nobody's going to ask your opinion of a trade, Jamie. We know that.
All 5 trades I've suggested over the last 20 years have been great potential trades. All 5 of them.
That's one every 4 years.
I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it
every 4 years.
I wouldn't do a trade for Ball either. I mean, he is playing with an experimental tendon transplant that's never been done before. That's
it may be the next big trade.
Or it could go out again. You don't trade for somebody with that kind of medical problems.
No.
Well, just wait and see.
I would be happy. If he gets through the whole season and plays 50 to 60 games and, looks good, is able to defend, hit some shots, do Lonzo Ball things, I would be happy to offer him the biannual exception next summer. That's where it tops out for me.
Biannual exception?
That's right.
That's an insult for a player of his level if he proves.
Then he can find more money somewhere else. That's fine.
Well, that's why you're never going to sign a free agent. Just like you're never going to make a trade.
Okay. Tom would trade Jamie for an empty Coke bottle. Yeah, probably.
No, not an empty one.
Not an empty one? Oh, I take that as a compliment. All right, now people taking pop shots at your 49ers, Tom. So we'll just move
Oh
on.
God, I've been taking pot shots at him too. My son asked me. My son actually asked me. He said, "Would you leave? You're such a negative on the 49ers."
All right, last little bit here, and then we're going to wrap it up. What are your guys' thoughts for tonight's game? Back to back. I don't think LeBron is going to play, to be honest. He might, but I'd be.
LeBron said he would last night in the interviews. So
okay, well then, if LeBron's playing, what are we thinking? Michael, you go first.
Well, we got to neutralize. You talk about Fox and Monk. The guy we have to really control is Sabonis because he's the guy that's been like really killing us the most. I'm not. Everybody was after us to try to sign DeRozan, and it was like, I don't like DeRozan in the Sacramento offense because he doesn't stretch the floor and he requires the ball. Fox requires the ball. Sabonis is like one of the top playmaking centers in basketball. I think we've had terrible luck with this team for 2 years now. I think we've won 1 out of 8, but I got a feeling that we've got a tremendously motivated AD, and we've got a guy, and AD seems to get up really for the top centers when he comes up against the top center. He just has an extra edge to him.
And he was outplayed the last time he played him.
So I'm thinking that we have a really good shot at home, even though it's a back-to-back, but a back-to-back in the first week of the season at home isn't nearly as challenging as it is in February on the road, So I think that we're going to see a win. I'm going to go out on a limb and say we're going to see a win. They're playing like 3 guards. Who's going to guard Rui? There's one big thing right there that
DeRozan.
Yeah, right.
Good. Right.
Good luck, DeRozan.
They gave up on Harrison Barnes. That would have been a Harrison Barnes call last year. But
right.
You
have a front line of
a little more offense and a little less defense.
You have a front line of LeBron and Rui, along with
AD.
That's where and then that was one of the things that JJ said coming into this year. He goes, "We have a lot of size on the front line, and that's going to be one of our advantages." And against this particular team, it will be a big advantage
once everybody's healthy.
Yeah. So I think that if we pound the ball like we've been pounding the ball, we don't need to take 43s, but we need to hit a good percentage of our threes like we did last night. I think we've got a good shot of winning this game.
All right, Tom.
I agree with Michael. I think that one thing that we're going to find that JJ is very good at is keeping the team poised to win. And you don't go out and start the year the way we did by taking on 2 top playoff teams and winning those 2 games handily to then go and lose a game to the Sacramento Kings, excuse me.
Show your age there, Tom.
I remember when they played for like a whole season or 2 in Kansas.
Well, I grew up rooting for the St. Louis Cardinals because they were near Chicago where I went to school.
Gotcha.
But at any rate, I think that there's a focus, that the ability that JJ has to focus these players on a team. And this is the first game where they haven't had like 3 days to focus on exactly and to really put in stuff specifically for the 2 teams they played. So tonight they're not going to have practice before they go against the Kings. So, right. But I still think that the big advantage that we have over the Kings is that AD is a different player than he was last year. And the coaching situation is a dramatically different situation than it was last year. And so I think that this is a good challenge. I think we're going to see the 3rd example of JJ Redick being the next great Lakers coach.
I mean, let's hope so. I mean, we're 2 games in, so I'm not Tom is still cheering for the Chicago Stags. Did that team even exist? I don't even.
The Chicago Cardinals were a great team.
Man. Oh man! Everybody in the chat's killing it today. I'd like to thank the chat for being amazing, and I'd like to thank. I'd like to thank all of our member shout outs down below. If you haven't seen our member shout outs, if you're one of our members, we'll give you a shout out down below. As you can see, Raphael 562, what's up Long Beach, Search and Destroy, Niaja Americano, which sounds like a delicious drink, and so on and so forth. I'm not going to read them all.
I'm not sure.
That's right. Anyway, I think that it's going to be a hard game to win. De'Aaron Fox usually goes off against the Lakers. Sabonis has a great game. I think, actually, I don't know that Reeves can keep up with De'Aaron Fox. I would like to believe that he can, but it's going to be tough. And don't forget this still. Is Malik Monk playing? I don't think
De'Aaron Fox can keep up with Reeves.
Is Malik Monk playing yet, or is he still recovering?
No,
he's playing, right? Okay, good. That means that's even a tougher team because Monk always goes off against us for some reason, even though we gave him a shot. Come on, Malik, show a little love for the team that gave you your shot and got you the big money deal you're making today. Without the Lakers, you wouldn't be a king, and you know it. So stop burying us and go bury the Hornets. But regardless, I think that we'll probably see a little bit more of that big on big lineup with AD and Hayes because that.
Yeah, I hope Hayes' ankle is good.
Yeah. That's a little Tom jumped on the Yankees bandwagon in 1927. Man, you guys, that's just terrible.
No, I was a Yankee fan since 1957. Mickey Mantle's rookie year.
That's just
the Yankees were my very first. Even though the Lakers are my favorite team, the Yankees were my very first sports team.
1920 shoeless Tom, that is. Oh god, you guys are killing it. Anyway, I think it's going to be a tough. I think we can win.
I watched more championships before you were born.
Ooh, man. Tom's throwing it back at the chat. Tom's throwing it back in the chat. But I would love to see. I'd love to see. I think our best defensive lineup might be AD Hayes, Rui, Reeves, and if Gabe. LeBron's motivated, LeBron. But if generally in the regular season, I would pick Gabe because LeBron now lacks foot speed.
Against this team, I would take Gabe simply because he has the quickness to match up with Fox.
And obviously, down the closing stretch, Rui is not going to be playing over LeBron James. Hayes probably won't be on the floor either. But as long as we can start this game off controlling Sabonis, I think that with one of the things that always happens with Sacramento and a lot of games that you lose, not last night. I thought we had a really great comeback last night. I thought we didn't try to hit a home run in the second quarter when we were down big or the third. We just kept playing our game, kept playing physical, kept getting into them on their shots. And pounding the ball inside and trying to generate contact.
Who's going to get the bonus, do you think?
To start the game, it'll be AD.
Think so?
It has to be.
Yeah,
LeBron. I don't think LeBron is. He's just not there yet. He needs a week or two into the season to get his body.
No, I think Rui could guard him.
No, I don't think. I think Rui's too.
I think you want AD roaming because AD roaming free is your best defense.
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing with
the Kings. You think about how Rui was able to keep Joker from penetrating.
All right.
That's worth a try. I think that's worth a try tonight.
I think that Rui will get switched on to. I mean, let's play it this way then. If the defense is switching everything, then they'll get it till he switched on to Reeves or Russell, and that's just how it'll go. Or if we'll
switch everything 1-4. Remember? Pick is set by the 5. Pick is set by the 5. That's Anthony Davis's decision as to whether.
I don't want Davis off. I don't want Davis off of Sabonis because
I think you have to go with AD.
The main reason is Sabonis is an elite rebounder. You got AD out there on the perimeter, and if you got.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's wait and see what happens tonight. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want.
I think AD wants to play the 4, and he wants
know that.
Yeah, he wants to roam on defense. He doesn't want to guard a guy 1-on-1.
I think Kurt Affair's got it. You might see a combo of Jackson, Rui, LeBron on Sabonis with AD roaming at times. But I think in general, you want your best defender on their best playmaker. And Sabonis is – I know what you're saying about 1-5 or 1-4 rather, Tom, and that 5 is 5. But the way the Kings play is they play Sabonis like he's a point center. And so it doesn't work the same in that normally the center is closer to the paint, functioning as a screener. be ready to activate in the dunker spot. Sabonis has the ball, and all the other guys play that role. And so,
yeah, but he's playing on the wing there, and he's basically going to throw the ball down low to somebody. That's where we're getting killed.
We'll see. I'm curious to see how it's going to be an interesting, because DeRozan adds another wrinkle, like Michael was saying, because even though he does need the ball in his hand, it gives them the ability to clear out the weak side. And run a lot of different stuff that we've seen Sacramento run in the past. Sacramento, for the most part, has been a pretty egalitarian offense that De'Aaron Fox takes over in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Up until the fourth quarter, it's hey, let's just play basketball. And then
I don't see DeRozan. See, I think the Kings. I think Michael's right. The Kings are going to have the same problems that were the reason why we didn't bring DeRozan in. Take the ball away from guys who needs the ball and reduce your 3-point shooting to spread the floor.
But he also
added another player to their guards, which was already their strength.
Right.
Yeah.
And they gave up a decent forward for him.
And this is where you got to switch everything. You want to switch on him. You don't want to have him taking mid-range jump shots.
Oh, he's gonna. There's no way you're gonna stop DeMar DeRozan from taking mid-range.
Well, you start by switching everything on him so that he doesn't get a guy on his hip and put him in jail. Because then once he puts him in jail and you've got your defender behind you, he is going to score. That's why you're switching stuff to defend threes and to prevent your ball handler from putting your defender in jail.
Tom, there's a question for you. What is your priority tonight? To watch the Lakers or the Yankees lose? Lakers win or the Yankees lose?
Since I can record both games, I'm going to watch the Yankees because that's the most important game. And after the Yankees steal that game, then I will watch the Lakers broadcast. And of course, at 7 o'clock, or this is a good one because it's 7:30 tonight.
7:30 tonight. It's a little later.
Half an hour, so I didn't have that. But then I just don't watch my smartphone at all. After the Lakers.
Yeah. No alerts. No alerts. Turn alerts off.
And we don't accept phone calls from people who want to spoil the results or anything like that.
You have a call screener? Oh, I'm sorry. Laker Tom can't get on the phone.
You'd have to stand outside my house and yell, "The Yankees lost" or "The Lakers are behind."
Which means you have to be in the Bay Area.
Well, I'm also a believer that everybody is in their own particular universe. And even though the game may have ended in your universe, it hasn't ended in my universe until it ends for me. And so I still believe that my rooting in the fourth quarter, even in a pre-recorded game, has impact.
Has Aaron Jug's mug been put on a milk carton yet because he's missing? These are great jokes, everybody. Keep them coming. Anyway, we're wrapping it up here anyway. So I'd like to thank unless there's anything. I mean, I'm predicting a Lakers win. Everybody predicting a Lakers win?
Yep.
Yeah, I am.
All right.
This will be a 15-point win.
No, Tom doesn't screen my calls. I don't call people. It's 2024. Who's calling anybody? Just send them a text. What are you calling for? Just let's be 2024 people. Let's move into the modern era. Anyway, I'd like to thank my fellow panelists, Laker Tom and Michael H. Laker Tom from the Bay Area, Michael H. from the island of Hawaii and its greater oceanic endeavors. Myself from Los Angeles. I'm just some kind of tech guy because I was killing it earlier today. I was just like murdering tech problems left and right. I do not troll the nightcap is cool, bro. I usually by that point I'm chilling out and it's been a long day and so on and so forth. I'd like to thank Gerald, Joe Soro, the extended Laker Fast Break family, all of our subscribers, all of our members. Thank you everybody who contributes to this channel and everything that moves it forward. And we'll see you later tonight. Go Lakers.
Go Lakers. Aloha.
Yankees.
Go Yankees, guys.